Couldn't help himself. Joining you at home for In the House is Deputy Labor Leader Tanya Plibersek and Communications Minister Malcolm Turnbull. Morning.
Good morning, Carl.
Good morning.
Nice to see you, Tanya. To you, first of all, you know what we love about you most, Tanya?
What's that?
Your honesty. How much will you miss Kevin Rudd? This much?
Well, I certainly will miss him. I mean, he was a wonderful Prime Minister. He led us to victory in 2007 against a very formidable Conservative parliamentarian, John Howard. He achieved great things during his time as Prime Minister. People spoke very movingly last night about the national apology and a number of other things that Prime Minister Rudd achieved. So, yes, of course, we'll miss him. But I understand that his family want him at home, and it's taken its toll on them this last few years, and I wish them all the very best.
You know what, Tanya, seriously going into an election, he could be Prime Minister now and he wouldn't have pulled up stumps, and the poor people of Griffith have got to go back to have another by-election now. Well,
I think the people of Griffith will obviously, yes, have to go back to the polls, but that's democracy for you. It's a bit... It's a bit hard on them for a few weeks, but it's the best system we've got.
All right. Malcolm, you have lots of man love for Kevin Rudd. How did you see it?
Well, it was a very sad moment. He was clearly very emotional, but he has many achievements in politics to be proud of. And as I said last night, I think in many ways the most, apart from the national apology about which everybody spoke in agreement, which is obviously one of those great moments in Australian history when a Prime Minister seizes the nettle and deals with something that has been overlooked, if you like, or set aside for too long. But I think the most impressive thing about Kevin Rudd in many ways is, despite the extraordinary treachery and betrayal and cruelty that was inflicted on him by his own party. I mean, shocking. What was done to him was shocking. I still find it shocking, years later. He bounced back. So it's a story of great resilience and courage on his own part, and of course on the part of his family.
All right, let's get on with the business.
It gives Malcolm hope. It gives Malcolm hope for a bounce back too, doesn't it, Malcolm?
Tanya, did you have to go there so early in the cross?
Gosh, Tanya, you must have been up early this morning getting ready for that jibe.
Lots of coffee, Malcolm.
All right, hey Malcolm, I want to go to you now on this issue. Of course, the carbon tax repeal bill is now, it looks unlikely to reach the Senate until February. There is some speculation in the Oz this morning that it may actually go before the Senate before Christmas. What do you think that's possible, first of all, that it could go before the Senate before Christmas?
Sorry, are you asking me?
Yes.
Hello? Yeah, well, yes, absolutely. It could and it should. The Australian people have voted in a referendum on the carbon tax. There is no, I know people get into these debates about mandates and did people vote for you because of a policy or despite a policy. There is no doubt that the coalition won the election decisively because of its position on the carbon tax. There's no one who voted Liberal who wanted to keep the carbon tax, I'm sure of that. And a lot of people, I suspect, who voted Labor who wanted to get rid of it too. So the Parliament should respect the will of the people and repeal it before Christmas.
So Labor is so desperate for cash at the moment, it's asking people to donate for a fighting fund against this. You know there's tremendous business uncertainty in relation that's growing by the day in regards to the tax. When are you going to go back to the polls, given that it doesn't go before the Senate?
Sorry, are you asking me again? Yeah, well,
you're the government now, Malcolm. You need to answer the question.
Sorry. No, it's just a little bit hard. I'm standing out here on the lawn. I can't see either of you, so I just wanted to be. I don't want to be doing all the talking. Okay, the position is, Carl, very simple. The Senate should deal with it and vote for it. If they don't vote for it, obviously, if they reject the bill, the repeal bills, then they can be brought back. They can't be brought back twice before Christmas, obviously, and there's obviously a constitutional opportunity for a double dissolution election if the government so chooses. But the government will decide its tactics and approach, as events unfold. But the real the very, very simple message to the Labor Party and indeed all the parties in the Senate is the Australian people have spoken. They have voted on the carbon tax. There was a clear, landslide win for the coalition. They want the carbon tax gone. It should be repealed.
Okay.
I mean, whatever your views are on the policy, you've got to respect the will of the people.
Tanya, we've got to go to you for a final... we're not going to let you answer that one because we just need to get your comments on this last story. An extraordinary story emerging last night with Joe Hockey warning government services such as welfare and Medicare payments could stop if Labor and the Greens don't support the raising of the debt ceiling. Now, are you actually going to stop this?
It's nonsense. It's absolutely nonsense. You know what? If you imagine it this way, you've got a mortgage of $300,000 and you say, I'm going to pay down the mortgage, I'm going to get rid of the debt. You're elected on that basis, and the first thing you do after you're elected is say, I want to change the mortgage from $300,000 to $500,000, and I don't want to answer any questions about why that's necessary. What we've said to the government is they can lift the mortgage to $400,000, but not $500,000 until they've answered some questions. Now, just replace thousand with billion. Joe Hockey is asking us to go from a $300 billion debt cap to a $500 billion debt cap without answering why. And what we've said to him is, you can have $400 billion today, you can have an extra $100 billion, but you need to tell us why you need more than that. And if Joe Hockey is really saying that he needs an extra $100 billion on top of that, otherwise we're going to go broke by the end of the year, then he needs to show us the books. OK, well, obviously, Malcolm is going to say something about the way you kept books. Malcolm, we've got to go, unfortunately. OK, 10 seconds.
Well, we can very quickly.
Yeah.
Labor itself said that our debt was going to peak at $370 billion. That was their figure. Economic conditions have deteriorated since. If you add a reasonable buffer as advised by the Office of Financial Management of $60 billion, you get to $430 billion. So this is simply being
nonsense,
prudent.
Malcolm. No, Malcolm.
It is not nonsense. It was in the pre-election financial...
We're going to let them go. We're going to let them go. I like it. Thank you, guys, for being with us. We'll see you next week. They're still going. That's rude. That's not me making that decision. It's the guy in my ear upstairs who's the EP. Lisa.
I think we can